sounded like that of Christ for reasons we've already mentioned. But you see, what makes Jesus very unique and very different is that Jesus was a real person. The story of Jesus does not occupy a place amidst the pages of Greek mythology or ancient religious legend. Humanity has always desired a real life Savior, God, hero. But which of their stories have been documented and written down in a book like the Bible? The most historically, that is the New Testament, the most historically documented ancient book that we know of today, that there ever has been. And which of these alleged Savior gods has a genealogy like that of Christ? Which of these alleged Savior gods can you go to a book and find out who his father was, and who his father was, and who his father was? Can you turn to some book about Dionysus or Prometheus or Mithras and find out, as you can turn to Luke chapter 3 or Matthew chapter 1 and read of their ancestors like you can of Jesus' ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, or as Luke chapter 3 goes, all the way back to Adam. Jesus was a real person. That makes Him different. What makes Jesus different? Well, here's another reason. The most historically documented ancient book in all the world testifies of His sinlessness, testifies that He knew no sin, testifies that He was a lamb without blemish and without spot, and that He committed no sin, nor was deceit found in His mouth. You see, Jesus was different than many of the stories of the alleged Savior gods. Many of their stories talk about some of their deeds and how they committed fornication or adultery, or how they might lie when it was, they thought, necessary for them to lie. Well, the story of Christ is nothing like that. You do not read of Christ doing not one wicked thing. Christ is different because He was sinless. Christ is different because He was a real person. Christ is different because the New Testament, the most historically documented ancient book in all the world, testifies of the great deeds, the miracles that He worked, and that how these miracles testified to His deity and His godhood. The Bible gives us prophecies about Christ. Where are the books? Where are the page after page after page of text that was written before these alleged Savior gods were supposedly born, if any of them ever did walk the earth? And some claim that there are some similarities between Jesus and men who really did walk the earth, be it Confucius or Plato or whoever. But where are the prophecies? Where are their prophecies that they fulfilled? You see, they don't have that, but Jesus does. And He fulfilled all of them. And the prophecies of Christ, we have proof that they went back hundreds of years before Jesus was ever born of woman, because we have the Hebrew Scriptures already translated into the Greek language 200 to 250 years or so before Jesus was born of a virgin. The prophecies were there. Jesus came and He fulfilled those prophecies, and we have solid proof that He rose from the dead, as we will see later in this seminar series. You see, Jesus is the unique Savior of the world. There are stories that sound like Christ that existed before the time of Christ, but it makes sense that there would have been, because there were prophecies that were made about Christ, not just to and among the Israelites. Those prophecies were being given even before there ever was an Israelite nation. And the stories were told, and people were waiting for. Now, they didn't understand all of these things, and it's very obvious that they twisted many of these stories, and many of the alleged similarities are not similarities. They have been fabricated, but there still are some, and it should be expected. But just because there are these similarities, it should not concern us, because it really is something that we could and should expect. Mankind has been waiting for, at least up until 2,000 years ago, a unique, heaven-sent, virgin-born, miracle-working, sacrificial, resurrected from the dead Savior God. And Jesus fulfilled those promises. He fulfilled those prophecies. He really did come in the flesh. He really did live a sinless life. He really did work the miracles, fulfilled the prophecies, and rose from the dead. Jesus Christ is the unique Savior of the world.